We arrived on the second night of outreach, and we decided to walk up from the car park, and we were trying to work out where to go. And I just said, let's go left. I feel like we need to go left. And we made a big joke about it and my discernment, but we just kept walking, and Bronte and I saw two girls just sitting on the sandy beach area, just up above it at the stairs by the lifeguard tower. And yeah, we were like, all right, let's do it. Like, let's approach them. And Bronte just says to me, you initiate. And I was like, no, you initiate. I initiated. She was just feeling a little bit nervous about it. And we walk up and we just introduce ourselves and have a little bit of small talk. And then basically we just split off, and I'll move the story over to Bronte from this point.
So I was speaking to probably the quieter of the two girls. Her name was Amy. And I sort of talked a bit about, like, why are you here? What are you doing? Are you enjoying schoolies? And then she asked me, like, what am I doing here? So I said, like, oh, we're Christian uni students going around talking to people about faith in God and what they believe. Would you be interested in chatting about that? And she was actually really keen. She was like, oh, yes, please. Like, I really want to talk about that. Because she had extended family that were believers, but her family wasn't personally. So I said, okay, what questions do you have? And she didn't know much at all. So I got to share the whole gospel with her, who the Trinity is, how that works, basically what God's done in my life as well. And she was super receptive. It was a really nice dialogue between us. And right at the end, I got to pray for her as well. And I challenged her, like, would you like to give your life to Christ? Is that something you'd be interested in? And she said she would really be interested in it, but she wanted to talk to her mum and dad first. So yeah, that was like a really encouraging conversation, especially coming from a place where I was so nervous at the start of that conversation, and then just seeing God work through me even though I wasn't feeling very adequate.
Yeah, and that wasn't quite the story for me. I came in strong, you know, it was like, this is what we're doing, like, we're talking to people about big spiritual things. And at first she was kind of receptive to that, and I asked her a few questions about her spiritual beliefs and what kind of evidence would convince her. And she basically just shut it all down, and I was like, okay, she's really not interested in this kind of a conversation. But then I heard Bronte starting to share the gospel and talking about her favorite Bible verse, and I was like, all right, I'm going to have to do some wingmanning here. And so for the next hour, I just wingmaned her. I asked, you know, what's your favorite color, your favorite animal, your top 3 uni preferences, and just basically every question you could think to ask someone who you don't know, I asked. Finally last night, 2 nights ago actually, I got to have a good follow-up conversation with a guy who is into astral projecting, and so I got to really challenge him on his understanding of the spiritual world. And so that's probably my first good conversation that I've had. Most of it has actually really just been wingmanning. I think God's really been providing the students with great conversations and great opportunities to grow. And I've been quite happy to stay back and pray and wingman and just support them in their growth there.
Something that clicked for me this year that hadn't really clicked before was the idea that you don't have to bring someone to Christ every single conversation you have, that even if you just bring them one step closer, that's something super important and that we can celebrate as well. Like, even if you just listen to someone and make sure that they feel loved. I had one conversation where all I explained to her was that heaven is like God's house, and so if he doesn't know you, why would he let you into his house? Talking about heaven and hell, and for her that just cleared up one point, and she was happy with that conversation and she left. And even though that was the only thing I got to share with her, that was still super important in her spiritual journey. So I think appreciating that I don't have to have success by my standards, it's just bringing people that one step closer, seeing them as people and journeying with them within a conversation. I think I'll take that back to campus.